Jai Sriman Narayan. Jai Sriman Narayan. Jai Sriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagadguru Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to our Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to our 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here physically at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that's watching this discourse locally, nationally, and internationally. And I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted on YouTube and the various groups from around the world subsequently. We continue our topic of creation within the main topic of oneness. And I've stated previously that I was impelled into these topics due to the various interreligious animosity and hatred that we are witnessing in the world today. Right around the world, there is interreligious animosity and hatred. This distressed me to such an extent that I decided to go deep into the reason why the universe was created, the purpose of the universe, and our own purpose in this particular universe. So we're going to unpack the reasons for creation and the reasons why we individually are inserted in this creation and the outcomes that is desired by the Creator for placing us in this creation. I've also stated that the system which I am representing, which is called Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan means eternal, and Dharma, for purposes of this discourse, will mean duty or performance. This system is not religious based. This system is the science of the universe. So it is science based, and it is anything that is scientific must also be logical and be comprehensible to the human mind. So these discourses have to be accepted with an open mind, because we are not portraying a particular religion. Whatever we discuss here can be experienced whether you are religious or irreligious. As you take in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide, that is Sanatan Dharma. Whether you believe in religion, whether you believe in a God, whether you believe in a particular God, or whether you don't believe in God at all, oxygen will enter your respiratory system and carbon dioxide is going to be exuded through your lungs. So this is what I am preaching. I am preaching the absolute scientific truth that pertains not only to humankind but to all living entities. So last week I used a few words. I don't know if you remember. Jessica, you remember the words I used? Inconceivable, infinite, I want to include incomprehensible. And as we move along, we'll introduce more words. So I've stated that in these discourses, 1 plus 1 must always equal to 2, which means these discourses must have a tangible reaction in your mental capacity of acceptance, must make a tangible difference. It must awaken your understanding. It must be logical and it must also make sense. So I want you to identify yourself in this scenario, and I want you to compare yourself to an ant. Who does not know what an ant is? Sita, you know what's an ant? All right. So if an ant could talk, how would the ant describe you, Sita? Satish Bhai, how would the ant describe you? If the ant wanted to estimate your size to its size, how would it estimate? What would it tell another ant? Enormous, incalculable. So this one ant will, imagine only one ant saw you, and this ant have to go to an audience of ants and describe you. This ant also saw how you built a house, how you manufactured a car, how you manufactured aeroplanes, how you manufactured huge buildings, how you manufactured ships, how you manufactured submarines. So if this ant has to describe the activities of man to an ant colony, what words would this ant use? If this ant had to describe the universe that you are living in, what words would this ant use? Man has inconceivable potencies. Man has created something indescribable. The universe in which we live together with man is infinite from the perspective of the ant. Did man create an aeroplane? Can it be properly described by man? Can it be properly understood by the ant? The size of man, the behavior of man, all of these characteristics that are enjoyed by man will not be able to be sufficiently explained by an ant to the ant colony. Similarly, if you have to compare yourself to the Supreme Lord, can you describe the potencies of the Supreme Lord? Can you fully comprehend the vastness of the cosmos? Because our mind cannot stretch and fill in all that knowledge. Yes? Yes. And I picked this phrase up from Taffy, our boy. He said, Guru, when you do certain complicated things, I try not to apply my mind because I waste a lot of energy. All right? He said, when you said you'll cut a circle or you'll create a circle just from boards lying around, I thought it will take 5 days, but you did it in an hour. And he is the guy that's working all the things I want worked. So he was quite shocked that he created a circle on the top of Lord Sriman Narayan. And he was quite shocked that the semicircles are made in cut, decorated that base. So, coming back, as the ant do not have or would not have been equipped to fully understand man and his creation, man's creation, it will be the same for man not to understand God and God's creation. Yes or no? And the reason is we are not mentally equipped to absorb all of the knowledge that exists at this point in time personally. So we cannot scoff at ideas, we cannot discard information if it does not make sense to us. An ant can't say that when that one ant explained to the other ants that man created an aeroplane, first it's on land, then it goes down a runway, and magically it soars into the air, and this aeroplane can also land at sea. The rest of the ants who did not have this vision from that one ant, and because all of this is inconceivable to the ant cannot deny the existence of man, the existence of man's creation. In this example, the aeroplane, because they exist in reality today. This aeroplane that starts from a runway, it soars through the air and it can also land on water. Is this a reality or not a reality? But that ant which did not see this, for that ant this would be a myth, because the ant only knows what it knows. You understand? So similarly, I'm going to unpack information that exists together with creation. This information cannot simply be discarded because it does not suit your understanding. You have to accept this information and keep it aside in those parts that you do not understand. Keep aside those parts that you do not understand and assimilate parts that you understand. Later, you can come back to those parts that you don't understand, or inquire from the Guru, and the Guru will make this understanding as simple as possible. So last week and the previous week we stated that there has to be a purpose for creation. There has to be a purpose for creation. And I myself, many arguments that's going to go through your mind went through my mind in those 20 dark years that I was searching for the absolute truth. So it's not inhuman to think. And there's always this question, who came first, Hemita? The hen or the chicken? That question is always there in the back of a human. Okay? So I want to explain that question away. Hen and the egg only works if there is time. Hen and egg works if there is time. When you remove time, the egg will always be an egg and the hen will always be a hen. But due to time, the egg transforms itself into a hen. All of you understand? Because of time, the egg manifests itself into a hen. If you remove time, then everything will only be in the present. There'll be no past and there'll be no future. So the egg will always be in the present. It cannot manifest itself because manifestation takes place through time. And the hen will always be the hen. So this is the explanation coming through the system that I represent called Sanatan Dharma. Alright? So it is mind-boggling to understand the explanation that I have given. It depends where you are in your spiritual understanding today. It can also be very, very simple if you understand time and eternality. If you understand time and eternality. If something is eternal, it does not change. And if something is material, then it is in constant flux. It's in constant change. Everything in the material universe is changing all the time. Every week you come to the ashram, you see there is a change. But if this ashram was in Vaikunt, in the spiritual world, then everything would be the same all the Alright? All the time in the eternal atmosphere, everything is the same. And change happens in the material universe. So that should be the key. That should be the key for the purpose of creation of the material universes. The word change. That should be your clue. Why the material universes were created and what must happen. Yeah, just see. Is this? Is the mic on? Amp is still off. Okay. Can you hear? Okay, all right. So there is a small break in transmission.
This is working.
It's working. My discourse is continuing.
Yes.
Okay.
You can use the.
Okay. Okay, all right. So I continue from where we stopped. I think our amplifier just blew up. Coming back, we said that the universe, the material universe that we are living in, we witness in all of our time that we are awake, constant change. We age, our environment age, people we know age, our jobs change, our thinking change, our mentality changes, and everything connected to our being is in constant change. And I said this should be the clue of the purpose of material universes. And that purpose should be the clue that God is giving us is that He placed us in a changing atmosphere, in a changing dimension, which means that we must use this changing dimension to change ourselves. That is the purpose of this material creation, to change our attitudes, to change our mindsets, to change and to comply with another creation. And that creation is the eternal creation, and our duty is to act as those that are acting in the eternal creation. And how do they act in the eternal creation? Always serving the Supreme Lord. So, in my 8 years, I've had countless devotees come to this ashram. And I've experienced, as I've stated, 1 + 1 must equal to 2. And I've experienced, together with those of you that are still here, that a fraction of a decimal percentage has any interest in serving the Lord. It can be 0,000000000000001% that have come through me and come through this system, and I've given the most basic discourses. I've stated in the most clearest terms with all the evidence that is available to me. However, there's always an ebb and flow of devotees in this ashram. And the main reason is that when they come to the ashram, it does not matter what the situation is. If you land here, God sent you here, you are merited to be here, and it is our duty to fix the situation for you on behalf of the Lord. But from that point in time, you have to start getting devoted to the Lord. You have to start getting devoted and serving the Lord. Unfortunately, as soon as we fulfill the reason that you came to the ashram, then there is no more desire for the ashram, Jessica. Like, I wanted to give an example, but I knew you and Satish Bhai is going to be listening to the discourse on that Sunday you all weren't here. So I wanted to say the week you all got your car, desire was fulfilled and you all didn't come back to satsang. You understand? Because the desire has been. Alright, but I didn't say it because you might have understood it wrongly. Then I wouldn't see you all at satsang. But do you understand? Yes. So you come to God because you need something. And the Lord says that is fine. That is why I created an obstacle for you, so that you can come to me. But after you have knowledge of me, then it is your duty to now start getting devoted to me, because you know who I am. Previously you did not know who I am. This Guru has been given all the information about me and where I live and what I can do. This Guru has been given all the information. So this shows the necessity for these material creations, does it not? And it also shows how difficult it is for man to point himself Godward. For man to point himself Godward. You understand? So this is going to go on and on and on eternally. There is an infinite amount of living entities. If everybody understands the Guru, all humans understand the Guru. There are 7.6 or 8 billion humans at the moment living on this planet Earth. And if all the adults understand the Guru, then there is going to be a very, very quick flow of living entities out of this material universes. And we'll also wonder why we are 155.2 trillion years old and all the living entities are still in this material universe. Very few have left. So we want to understand what is that mentality that binds us to this material universe with such a force that even if God is shown and projected to us, it is very difficult for us to embrace the Supreme Lord. Should we have an answer for this? Yes, if God put us in this situation, then He needs to give us comprehensive answers why He has put us here. If He does not, then He cannot be absolute and He cannot be supreme. If the Lord is supreme, the Lord is absolute, then He has to answer every question a human has in relation to his understanding of himself and his universe. Yes or no? So last week I said that it would not fit in the perspective of my discourses if I do not describe the spiritual world. And I, through the scriptures, gave a brief description of the spiritual world. And this week I think it is absolutely necessary to describe the Creator Himself. It would not be logical for a Creator to have created and be unknown to His creation. It would just not make any sense at all to go through this great effort of creating. If you look around, there's so many varieties in one species. Just in roses, how many types of roses there are? In fruits, in bananas, how many types of bananas? In oranges, how many types of... How much of work has been done to create so many variety in so many species, birds, animals, trees, plants? Then why should not the Creator be known? If we went to such great lengths to create this magnificent universe, this universe is mind-boggling, is it not? Then why would not the Creator want to be known? It does not make sense. Does it make sense? Then I've also said that the bona fide person to know the Creator has to be the first created. Does it make sense? The Lord created the very first entity, then it is incumbent upon the Lord to give that first entity the constitution of creation, so that that first entity, on behalf of the Lord, can explain creation, the purpose of creation, the living entities, the purpose of the living entities to all the living entities. Like the CEO of a company where they employ hundreds of thousands of people, he won't go to each and every person and explain the company policy, will he? He'll call the manager in and he'll inform the manager. And the manager will call all the group heads and he'll explain to the group heads, and there will be a hierarchy of the information that is to be dispelled to everyone. Won't there be? So similarly, if we can create this hierarchy in our atomic minds, then don't you think the Supreme Lord will have a similar or a greater hierarchy to disseminate information about creation, about himself, and about ourselves, the living entity, to everyone? You think the Lord will just give you scanty information in one small book, or you think the Lord will disseminate a library of information, because this creation is inconceivable. So you need a library of information to understand this creation. And that is called Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma is the library of information in regards to every aspect of this universe. Okay, can you see how interesting this topic is? Premila is even awake. Normally her head hits about 40 drops in my discourses. Today she is listening intently. Alright? Because we are describing the Lord. We are describing the Lord. Alright? So I'm going to describe the Lord from Lord Brahma's perspective. Okay, so I'm just jumping the gun here. I'm going to go back step by step. Creation. So creation has happened already, and a partial creation has taken place, and the first created being, Lord Brahma, has been given an opportunity by the Supreme Lord himself to view him and view his residence. So I'm starting from that point in time, and this is Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text 14. And this is what Lord Brahma sees. The goddess of fortune, in her transcendental form, is engaged in the loving service of the Lord's lotus feet, comma, and being moved by the black bees, comma, followers of spring, comma, she is not only engaged in variegated pleasure, dash service to the Lord, comma, along with the constant companions, dash, but is also engaged in singing the glories of the Lord's activities. So this is Lord Brahma. From the material universe, he has been given a special vision, and he can now see the spiritual world, and in that spiritual world he is noticing the goddess of fortune engaged in serving the Supreme Lord. That is his first sight. What it tells you, what clue is it giving you in this material universe? What is the duty of living entities? To serve the Supreme Lord. That is our eternal duty, and that is called Sanatan Dharma. Text 15. Lord Brahma saw in the Vaikuntha planets the personality of Godhead, comma, who is the Lord of the entire devotee community, comma, the Lord of the goddess of fortune, comma, the Lord of all sacrifices, comma, and the Lord of the universe, comma, and who is served by the foremost servitors like Nanda, Sunanda, Prabala, and Arhana, his immediate associates. Text 16. The personality of Godhead, comma, seen leaning favorably towards his loving servitors, comma, his very sight intoxicating and attractive, comma, appeared to be very much satisfied. Full stop. He had a smiling face decorated with an enchanting reddish hue, H-U-E, full stop. He was dressed in yellow robes and wore earrings and a helmet on his head, full stop. He had 4 hands, comma, and his chest was marked with the lines of the goddess of fortune. Verse 17. The Lord was seated on his throne and was surrounded by different energies, like the 4, the 16, the 5, and the 6 natural opulences, along with other insignificant energies of the temporary character. Full stop. But he was the factual Supreme Lord, enjoying his own abode. Full stop. Text 18. Lord Brahma, thus seen the personality of Godhead in his fullness, was overwhelmed with joy within his heart, and thus in full transcendental love and ecstasy, his eyes filled with tears of love, he thus bowed down before the Lord. That is the way of the highest perfection of living beings. When you see the Lord, what you need to do? Bow down. This act of bowing down started from the very first created living entity. When you experience the Lord, your heart must give you immense joy, and you can mentally in that joy bow down. You can surrender mentally, you can prostrate mentally, because all these feelings are experienced mentally. You understand? Text 19. And seeing Brahma present before him, The Lord accepted him as worthy to create living beings, to be controlled as he desired, and thus being satisfied with him, the Lord shook hands with Brahma and, slightly smiling, addressed him thus. Can you imagine the Supreme Lord? First living entity, and he shakes hand. Can you see where the first handshake came from? When you conclude a deal, when you're happy with somebody, you shake that person's hand. Alright? And you know the story of shaking hands, Satish Bhai. Sometimes you want to test your strength. And when you shake hand, you shake the opposing person's hand with some strength. You think if God used his strength on Brahma, what would have happened, Satish Bhai? See how humble the Supreme Lord is. Is shaking hand a friendship? When you shake someone's hand, you establish a friendship, you establish a relationship, and you establish your humility, you establish friendship, humility, and an agreement. You shake hand as an agreement, and this agreement was that Lord Brahma now will continue with the secondary creation. And let's see what the Lord had to say. The beautiful personality of Godhead addressed Lord Brahma, O Brahma, impregnated with the Vedas, Vedas means knowledge. So the Lord said, O Brahma, impregnated with knowledge, I am very much pleased with your long accumulated penance with the desire for creation. Hardly am I pleased with pseudo-mystics. What does pseudo-mystics means? Fake devotees. Fake devotees. The Lord is not impressed with fake devotees. This is his first word he is saying in this universe. His very first sentence, is it not? And he is saying he is not impressed with fake devotees. How important is this verse? We can spend a whole lot of discourses just on this one verse. See, the Lord is transcendental. In one line, he can create a library for our understanding. Just in one line. And this also answers why all our devotees that are supposed to be here are not here. Are not here because the Lord is not happy with fake devotees. And I've been running this ashram along these lines. Whenever I saw a devotee was fake, I increased the temperature so the devotee can leave. I increased the temperature so the devotee could leave. Because if the Lord does not want fake devotees, then who am I to keep fake devotees? All of you understand? I have to be true to the Lord and not true to the fake devotees. All of you understand? So when you start feeling hot, your collar, your ears, when you start feeling hot in the satsang, it means Guru has caught up, you're a fake devotee. Well, Guru knows all the time, but the Guru tries his best to winch you in. Slowly, the Guru tries his best to winch you in. But when the Guru realizes you cannot be winched in anymore, and the Guru has run out of winch, because this is a material universe, I don't have an eternal winch. I have a material winch. Then sometimes you are going to feel the heat. Alright? But look how great. Do you think it is natural for the Lord to meet His first created being? You think it's a natural phenomenon that the Lord created the first being, He must meet this being? Is it respectable thing for the Lord to do? You created me, now you must meet me and explain to me what my duty is. Alright? The Lord says, I wish you good luck. Full stop. O Brahma, you may ask from me, comma, the giver of all benediction, comma, all that you may desire. Full stop. You may know that the ultimate benediction, comma, as the result of all penances is to see me by realization. Okay? So you think, look what the Lord is stating in His second sentence. He is saying, you can ask me what you desire, and then He is saying that you may know that the ultimate benediction as a result of all penances is to see me by realization. What does see me by realization means? We are concluding that this universe is how many years gone? 155 trillion years. So whilst you are human at this point in time, you think those were glorious and blissful 155 trillion years? Just would the suffering in this little lifetime of ours, and we know now from the information given by the Lord Himself that 155 trillion years have passed in this creation. We are miserable today in the small 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. If we have to sit and really on a spreadsheet put down whether our life was favorable or unfavorable, it does not matter whether you're a millionaire or a billionaire or a trillionaire, everyone is going to say more or less that our life was unfavorable. We never received the ultimate bliss. So is that not our penances that the Lord is talking about? Our suffering is our penances. And is this not the stage where we can realize that we have capacity to have a vision of the Supreme Lord? Is this not the stage? Because here I'm revealing the reason for our suffering. All our suffering is to come to a realization that we need to connect to our Creator, who is the Supreme Lord. That is why we are all suffering. In whatever manner, place, time and consequence, our suffering is so that we can come to a realization and understand and have a vision of the Supreme Lord. Alright? And the Lord is giving the clue in His second sentence, speaking to the first created being. Text 22. The highest perfectional ingenuity is the personal perception of my abodes, comma, and this has been possible because of your submissive attitude in performance of severe penance according to my order. So you suffer, you undergo penances not through your own order. You can't take a knife now, go home, Jessica, and go in a bathroom and start poking yourself and saying, I'm suffering. I want to have a vision of the Lord. I'm suffering. I want to have a vision of that Lord. That is through your order. You have to suffer through the Lord's order, not your own order. You have to undergo austerities and penances as prescribed by the Supreme Lord Himself. And these can be found in any religion. You can undergo austerities and penances in Judaism, in Christianity, in Islam, and all the existing religions of the world. Anywhere you can go and undergo austerities and penances, and you can have this vision of the Supreme Lord in any religion. Okay, here the Lord is not teaching religion, He is talking to humanity as a whole. And you must also note that the father of mankind in Sanatana Dharma is Brahma. Who is the father of mankind in the Abrahamic religions? Abrahamic religion includes Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Who is the father of mankind? Who? Abraham is the father of mankind in the Abrahamic religions. Abraham. And see how this is run in parallel to Brahma. Brahma, Abraham. And in next week's discourse or the following week, I will show you that even the names of the wives of Brahma and Abraham is the same. It's parallel. You understand? So, whether it's the same personality or not does not matter, but it being parallel tells you that it is the one truth that is flowing. It being parallel tells you that it is one truth that is flowing, and this is why I state that Sanatana Dharma can be practiced in any religion. Alright? Okay. Text 24. I create this cosmos by such penance, I maintain it by the same energy, and I withdraw it all by the same energy, full stop. Therefore, the potential power is penance only. Are you understanding? So the purpose of this creation is through penance. Penance means voluntary suffering. Penance means austerities and penances mean voluntary suffering. This suffering, this penance, this devoting yourself to the Lord is the energy by which the Lord has created this material universes. And then text 25, Lord Brahma said, O personality of Godhead, you are situated in every living entity's heart as the supreme director, and therefore you are aware of all endeavors by your superior intelligence, without any hindrance whatsoever. Okay, so I want to conclude here, because Hemita is hungry. Lord Brahma is telling the Lord that He is the director of the activity of every human being. This verse itself, I can hold a few hundred discourses on this verse itself, but we're going to do that. But I just want you to understand, Maxine, that when you are in the darkest place, you are not alone. The Lord is within your soul. He lives within your soul. And at the appropriate time, He renders assistance to you directly. At the appropriate time, the Lord never leaves a living entity. The Lord never leaves a living entity. As long as the Lord exists, the living entity will exist. And the Lord will never, He cannot, because He is situated, He is resident in your very soul. He lives within you. And He directs you. He directs you as per your actions. And when He finds that time appropriate, then like a curtain, He removes your darkness and brings you into light. And the first light is knowledge of the Lord. You must really believe, every one of you seated here and whoever is going to listen to this discourse, this is the greatest mistake we all made. And I gave Vishwadhar. Vishwadhar fails every week. As the chairperson and the most knowledgeable devotee of the Sri Narayan Dham, Vishwadhar fails a few times every week. And I just want to explain his last failure. I'm just remembering and I want to explain his last failure. So these discourses go on YouTube. And there was somebody called, quite appropriately, Penlight. Somebody called Penlight on YouTube stated that I am ignorant of knowledge, and this is why I said that Swami Srila Prabhupada's translation of the Bhagavad Gita is not 100%. But I brought 3 other Bhagavad Gitas and I showed all these Bhagavad Gitas are not 100% translated. They translated with a motive. They translated with a particular motive. So I asked Vishwadhar to respond, because I see a lot of posts. Somebody will come out with some saying, and 1,000 people will attack them, like Viswan Reddy recently. You can tell him, Jessica, right? So he spoke about the fuel hike, and then people attacked him about joining the ANC and being a sellout, and he didn't respond. When you do not respond, it means you are culpable. Why would you not respond? If in the first place you put up a post, and if people attack the post, don't you think it is logical to respond to the post? Because you put up the post, Satisbhai. People are not attacking you for nothing. Then you can say, listen, I won't respond. But if you put up a post, then you must stand by what you put in the public domain. And it is for that reason that I put this YouTube. I had this video inserted in YouTube. Then if anybody counters whatever I discourse, and if I don't stand up to it, it means that my discourse was not absolute. Yes or no? Yes. So based on that, we will respond. to anybody and everybody. It does not matter how many years it takes us to respond. We will respond and will continue educating you until you understand the absolute point of view. So this is why I said that penlight did not understand sunlight. Penlight will never be able to understand sunlight. So I told Vishwadhar, respond. But I said, there are many people that don't worry about the main post. They take a decision on the comment itself. Yes or no? Have you seen posts? Yes. Then when you go, then you read the different points of view by others and you make your own view by the view made by others, like a judgment. So I told Vishwadhar, because of that, I gave him a few pointers and I told him, okay, send your refutal back to me. I'll go through it, and then if I like it, you post. So he sent me, somewhere along the day, he sent me that refutal. I read it. He sent it on WhatsApp and I gave him the thumbs up. Okay. Nilesh Bhai, you might be wondering what's wrong with that. So I called him in the afternoon. I'm busy in construction. I called him in the afternoon and we have a great discussion. What you think Vishwadhar's first point of discussion with me should have been? Acharyaji, thank you very much for endorsing my rebuttal. Don't you think? So we had a long discussion, about 15 minutes, and then I brought in the subject. And guess what Vishwadhar tells me? He said, Acharyaji, I sent that rebuttal to Alina and she was very, very impressed. She was very, very impressed with this rebuttal. Can you see why these material universes were created? Can you see the reason for the creation of this material universe? That is why. And he's telling his guru that. Jai Sriman Narayan.